Shalom, family. Back again to make another video with the hope of just giving you something to consider in this edition of Spiritual Food for Thought. As I said, family, I make these videos with the hope of provoking you to thought. You know, the Most High, one of the biggest blessings that He ever gave us is a mind that's capable of searching things out and thinking for itself. And as we've been a slave to our senses and basically shaped and formed in iniquity, which is opposition to the perfect will of the Most High Power's kingdom, okay, we have become intellectually lazy. So we're so used to allowing things outside ourselves to do our thinking for us. That's why we got stuff like calculators, computers, all kind of things, these devices of artificial intelligence that the spirits of darkness brought this type of understanding and knowledge to the world, to fallen man. So fallen man, it also causes fallen man to play out the God complex that he has. It's like he creates things or procreate things to make his life easier, where other things can do the work for him. And it's gotten so bad now, it's to the place that we're willing to give up one of the things that the Most High made in His image and His likeness as far as man is concerned. And that's the ability to think and rationalize and reason so that we can have an understanding of, even understanding things like our purpose and what we're here for, how we serve our Creator and all these things. Because as we continue to try to make things easier and, like I said, being a slave to the desires of the flesh, where anything that causes man to come to a place of comfort and convenience, that's his Elohim, because that's the path and the thing that he'll do to put himself on the throne of himself in his mind, that he was meant to rule and rule over his environment and whoever is in his environment, whether it's another person or another creation or creature, which is our fellow creatures in this planet, or Mother Earth herself, in which we came forth from. So, to be born in the flesh. So, say the thing is, I just want to make a point that we need to understand ourselves as created beings and what's really going on, so that we can be humbled in the presence of the Most High, to come to that place where we begin to use our minds, the minds that He gave us, to think for ourselves and rationalize and all these things. First, with the purpose of being able to communicate with our Elohim. Because if He's the source of everything that we are, we have to have dialogue with our Creator in order for us to fulfill our destiny. And that's to come to know who you are, so that you can serve the Most High according to the revelation that He brings to your mind, which ultimately cause us to understand ourselves and understand the love that He does have for us, and what He has for us ultimately as He brings forth the completion of His kingdom, of His righteous kingdom, where it's operating in the spirit of love and oneness, where all things work in harmony and flow together for the good of all of creation. Okay, so what I wanted to just, as I said, one of the things that the Most High is doing in this season, family, that He has to bring us to the realization that we are created beings. Because it's the spirit of Hasatan, which is the spirit of our pride, that keeps us from understanding that we are created beings, and we was created to serve the Most High Power. You know what I'm saying? But pride makes us forget that. So we become an Elohim to ourselves. So we desire to enslave our environment to bring forth our convenience and comfort, so that we masters of our domain. So we get to play, we get to play God in our own minds to rule the things around us. We was never meant to rule the things around us. We was meant to rule ourselves through the understanding of his mind, so that we could play our part in this creation process, ultimately to be birthed in the spirit, to enter the kingdom, the completed kingdom of the Most High Power. So, excuse me. So what I want to bring out, excuse me, man, I'm sorry, dealing with this cold over the last couple of days. But what I want to bring to the point to, and as I said, family, I'm not trying to teach you anything. I'm not trying to convince you of anything. All I'm doing is laying some thoughts out there, and to bring us to the understanding that we are created beings, that we was created to serve our Creator according to his will and his righteousness. So, we need to understand that we're not in control of anything. The one that's in control is the Most High Power, because he's the Creator. So he's the one with the power to control. He's the only one that's ever meant to control his creation. So we have a false, and pride causes us, because it's the spirit of Hasatan, because it's what he desires to do. And that's in this world, this is what he does. He rules in this world. Okay, but the bottom line is the Most High is about to bring forth his kingdom. So he has to redeem this world and bring it under subjection to the Ruach HaKodesh, or the Holy Spirit. Okay, so we need to understand something, family. We are all characters in the Most High Power play of creation. This is why when I say that the most important thing to the child of the Most High Power is to understand how he sees us. Not based on what we've been taught by religion. Not by what other people say this world has told us. Not by what we believe because of all this external information. But what is Elohim, the Most High Power? Who does he say we are? You see what I'm saying? Because in this fallen nature, we live by who men say we are. Okay, we need to understand in the spirit who the Father says we are, how he sees us. The only way you're ever going to come to know that, family, is to search out your Creator. To ask you to begin to question your existence on why you here, and who are you really, and what you're supposed to be doing. You know, because all of us know that there's a higher power that rules. Okay, we like to believe through the spirit of Hasatan that we in control, that we control our destiny, that we have a right to rule and control the things around us. But that's the spirit of Hasatan. Only one has absolute authority and right and sovereignty to rule the creation, and that's the Most High Power. We are all players in this play of creation. Okay, the bottom line is creation is not going to be complete until the Most High Power brings everything up under the subjection of his perfect will, where the spirit of his love rules and reigns and abides in all his creation, as he fills us with the understanding and the knowledge of our Elohim, his perfect will, to understand that the love, the foundational laws of the kingdom is the spirit of love and oneness of his creation. Okay, where there's no more opposition. Okay, see, he's proving the power of the Ruach HaKodesh that's going to overcome all this darkness that's been a part of the process of creation. This caused us to be a slave to our desires versus a servant of the Most High through the understanding and the oneness of his love that causes us automatically, it brings forth the nature of love and obedience to our Creator. This is why we must be born again. And anything short of that ain't adding up. Because the Most High, he's everything. He's the creator. He's decreed everything that happens. He signed off on it. Because if he don't sign off on it, then guess what? Yep, it ain't happening. And as I said, he said his ways are not our ways and his thoughts are not our thoughts. And even to the point where his foolishness is not to be measured to the most so-called intelligent or smartest man that's ever existed. You know what I'm saying? Don't measure up to the Most High in no way. Because even that knowledge and understanding that man has, he's a created being. So he's not given anything that the Most High ain't gave him. So the bottom line is there's none above. That's why he's called the Most High Power. Okay? So if we don't understand the perfect will of the Most High Power, okay, so what chance do we have for redemption? What chance do we have from salvation? See, we need to understand, family, salvation. We need to be saved from all these lies and the BS that we've been taught since we come into this existence, to cause us to deify ourselves as Elohim, to cause us to live in a spirit of selfishness where we are own Elohim. And the only thing that matters to us is our convenience and comfort. And that comes by us manipulating our environment to bring forth that condition or that sense of convenience and comfort. Where we feel that it's about us and the things around us yielding to our will. Whether it's people, whether it's our fellow creatures in this world as well as our fellow people and Mother Earth herself. We do things to this earth to bring forth what we want. As I said, the bottom line is the biggest sins of mankind is the violation of the laws of nature. Where people cut down trees and do all these things and burn off trees and stuff, so ultimately land developers can get that land so that they can make money off of it as they charge these ridiculous prices for a roof over your head. Okay? It's all about the elite, those at the top. It's about them using money to control people, to make slaves out of people, to keep them serving and worshiping man. Because that's what the deal is, like I said, with Hasatan. Like I said in that movie, The Devil's Advocate, it was told you plain as day right there. What the Devil's Advocate, he said, I'm his biggest fan. I give him pleasure. So this is why men want to serve me, because I give them what they want. But in reality, when you stop back and step back and look at that, the reality is, Hasatan was created to serve the Most High in that darkness, right? So the reality is, I've heard teachers where Hasatan rebelled against the Most High because he was jealous of that the Most High esteemed man and had this purpose for man. So the bottom line is, Hasatan says, I'm not going to serve man, I'm going to make him serve me. Okay? But the reality is, if he gives man, if the only reason man serves him, because Hasatan brings him pleasure. Okay? So, who's serving who? Because if Hasatan's purpose was to do what he does, to deceive man, he's also serving man in the realm of the purpose that the Most High created him to do. So he's serving man anyway. So the bottom line is, the reason I say that, because the reality is, the mind of fallen man is Hasatan. They the same being. There's no love there. You know what I'm saying? It's about trying to control things outside yourself. And the Most High never meant for us to control things outside of ourselves. All he ever desired us to control is ourselves. But that can't come until we receive the Spirit of the Most High that causes us to walk in the fruits of the Spirit. Okay? With interesting enough, the last fruit of the Spirit is self-control. Because until the rest of them get in line, you can't control yourself because you don't have understanding of self. You don't have understanding your purpose and your design and all of these things. So therefore, you can't control self. Because you fell for the okey doke and the sleight of hand that caused you have a desire to control the things around you, because we bought the lie that man is supposed to be ruling over this world and stuff. But look at the world under man's rule. Shows you right there. You know, man can at best manipulate the things around him to get what he wants. Okay, so the bottom line is that's witchcraft. You know what I'm saying? So the bottom line is, hey, that ain't the way that we're supposed to be operating on that spirit. Because until we understand that the Most High, the only thing he meant for us to rule over is ourselves. So as we understand ourselves, we can control ourselves through the understanding of his mind that gives us purpose and reasons for why we are and who we are and what we are. So therefore, then we're able to serve the Most High power with the understanding of the gifts and the talents that he's given us. And we're supposed to serve creation. We're supposed to be doing things that enhance creation, okay? That brings out the beauty of everything that the Most High power is. Okay, that's how we serve him. We serve him by being ourselves, but with the understanding of his mind. So, you know, we got to understand that we are all players in the play of creation. So, we're in the so-called written scriptures. All of us, every person that's ever been created is in there, because we all are part of creation. And especially understanding now, family, that we're in the process of creation right now, because that's what this realm of experiencing good and evil is about. It's to bring us an understanding of reality that we are created beings, and this ain't the end game. This existence is not the end game. The end game is the kingdom, the righteous kingdom, the kingdom that's of the Most High, where all things operate in the capacity or according to the purpose in which the Most High created them to operate. Okay, so which operate in the realm of nature, because as I said, the Most High power is nature. Nature is an expression of the Most High power. Okay? And when all things operate in the way he intended them to operate, there's perfect harmony, and it just brings forth life to all of creation, to all of us. Okay? This is what the kingdom is. It's eternal life. And eternal life is not possible until the creation of the Most High comes into oneness with him and each other in total agreements of love and harmony for all. Because the Most High is all and in all of his creation. Okay, so the reality is this is where he's taking us. Okay? But if you don't understand the intention or the mind of the Creator for your life, because as I continue to try to stress this, family, we're all unique. The Most High has, as I said, the path, the straight and narrow path that he has chosen for each of us, okay? The reason the path is so narrow is because only you can walk your path. Period. Nobody can walk that path with you. You have to walk your own path. And your own path is to be yourself in him with the understanding of his mind, so that you can receive his love that will cause you to love yourself in his pure righteous love. So therefore, you're able to love others, because until you love yourself, you can't love nobody else. That's why the world is full of little gods, going around in a sense of self-hatred, but they try to prove that they good or prove that there's something in reality that they're not, because there is no goodness apart from the perfect will of the Most High Power. So the bottom line is, it causes us to live in this illusion where we got to constantly try to prove that we something that we not. You know what I'm saying? When they called Yeshua, somebody called Yeshua at one point good master. And he said, why you call me good? Because there's not one good but the Father. Okay, so the bottom line is Yeshua did everything right, but yet he refused to be called good because he gave all glory and esteem to the Father, which is what we're supposed to be doing, the same thing. But in our fallen nature, we don't understand these things. So we continue to live under this lie that we have power and control over our environment. So we constantly live a life trying to prove that and possess things and stuff like that to deify ourselves, to lift ourselves up, to say I'm a good person, or I'm this, that, and other. But the reality is you're being deceived, because the reality is, apart from the perfect will of the Most High Power and His understanding, this is all. It don't even exist. Okay? And that's why I said ultimately, because this realm of death and hell that we exist in right now is, it's a thing that's been pulled over our minds to enslave us, to continue to be slaves to our senses and the rulers of the darkness of this world, to continue to try to prolong the kingdom of Hasatan. Okay, this is why, as I said, the scripture says the natural man receive not the things of the Spirit of Yah, because it's foolishness to him, and neither can he know them because it's spiritually discerned. So the things of the kingdom is foolishness to the carnal man. And as I said, carnal man is the man, that the fallen man that's under the spirit of Hasatan, which is the mark of the beast. Because as I said, the mark of the beast is the mind of fallen man that's separated from the Most High Power. That's the spirit of Hasatan. Is that the driving force of that? So the bottom line is, as I said, when man fell, we fell into agreement with the will of Hasatan, and that's to be an Elohim to ourselves, which being a slave to your desires for pleasure. Okay, to make you feel good about yourself, which is what pride does. So there's nothing good in us in this fallen nature, because there's nothing good in Hasatan. Because Hasatan is the adversary of the Most High. So as we are in the flesh and we slaves to Hasatan, what are we? That makes us adversaries to the Most High. This is why we must be born again of the Spirit, so that we can come in agreement with the understanding of our Elohim through the understanding of His love for us by the power of the Ruach HaKodesh, or the Holy Spirit. So we need to understand, as created beings, we are all players in this process of creation. Now, for those who want to believe in free will and all that stuff, as I said, how is choosing the ways of death free will? It's death. It's what it is. So how can there be choice? Choice only exists when it's choosing life. The life of the Most High Power. The life of the kingdom. The completed work of the creation, where only those who He deemed righteous exist, to be able to manifest its purpose and all these things as far as the kingdom of heaven. Okay, as I say, kingdom of heaven is all around us, but we can't see it because we've been conformed to the image of this world that causes us to have a perception of this world according to the flesh, which is Hasatan's kingdom. Okay, this is why we must be born again, so that we can receive the mind of our Creator, the Most High Power, which allows us to see the kingdom of His kingdom of Elohim, where all things will be operating in the oneness of His love and the perfection of His love, that He created all things to exist and coexist in harmony with one another. And anything that violates the laws of the nature of the Most High Power can't exist there. Okay, and it won't exist there. Those things will exist in the least side of the kingdom, which is the lake of fire. Where, as I said, the lake of fire is the Most High's garbage disposal and incinerator for all the trash that's left over, the residue that's left over from the things he used to try his people and create his kingdom in love. All those things that was the adversary and opposition, that's where it's going. So, as I said, the Ruach makes it plain to us that we are created beings and that we're not in control of anything around us. And the only option of control that we have, that he intended from the beginning, is to control ourselves. But we can't do that without the mind of the Spirit, to understand ourselves through the eyes of our Creator. So we can't overcome selfishness or self that's separated from the Most High power. So the bottom line is, unless you have the spirit of his mind, you can't receive the reality that, hey, Most High didn't make you be no God. You know what I'm saying? You're supposed to be a servant of his, which is a child of his. See, you ain't a God until you can absolutely control yourself. You know what I'm saying? You can't do that as long as you distracting. You bought the Kool-Aid and drinking the lies of the reality that you're supposed to be running everything around you. That man's supposed to be controlling this earth. See, it ain't natural for another being except the Creator to control another. He didn't design us that way. That's why we reject when other people try to control us. Because it wasn't meant for other people to control us. Nor is it meant for us to control other people. But through the understanding of his love, through his spirit, we understand the only thing we was meant to control is ourselves. So we could be ourselves, so we could be the blessing that the Most High power intended us to be for the good of all of creation. That's what the kingdom is about. As I said, if you don't have the heart of a servant, that's what Yeshua tried to teach his disciples when he washed their feet. Unless you serve, you will take no part in his kingdom. So the greatest in the kingdom is the ones with the servant mentality. And they'll be the greatest in the kingdom. When we understand our purpose is to serve. We rule by serving. Okay? As we rule ourselves by being a servant to creation. We're supposed to assist creation, not run it, but assist it. It's a difference. Okay, so, as I said, our responsibility then has to come to find ourselves in his divine order and plan. Like I said, the written text of men, whether it's the Bible, whether it's the scrolls, whatever, all of these is still, you know what I'm saying? It's the story of creation. And as a created being, we're all in there. And we need to find ourselves in there. As I said, the written scrolls and things like that, yeah, it appears to be a whole lot of contradictions. Yeah, because the bottom line is it speaks to those who are born of the Spirit one way, and it's about glorifying the Father and manifesting his kingdom. But those that are not of his, it's about being your own Elohim and doing what you want, what pleases you. So the bottom line is, yeah, the scriptures is full of truth, but they full of half-truths as well. Because the only truth that really matters, family, is the absolute truth of the Father as far as the kingdom is concerned. That's the real truth that matters. And you need the Ruach HaKodesh to discern that truth in season as well. Because a truth that's out of season is a lie. See, that's why I'm saying we must be born of the Spirit, because without the Spirit you can't discern the truth. Because if the truth you discern is out of season or obsolete, because we assume everything is supposed to stay the same, but nothing can grow and learn and evolve without change. So the Most High changes the way he does things when that season is appropriate, because if he kept dealing with us the same way, what you get is what you got right now. We still stuck on stupid because we trying to imitate the forefathers who was wicked in his sight. That's why, as I said, the Most High sent Yeshua to conquer death so that we could conquer death. But one of the tools of death was the priesthood of men. So he ended the priesthood of men as well. As I said, Yeshua is the last true prophet of the Most High power. And the only true prophet of the Most High today is the Ruach HaKodesh. That's why we must seek after him. As we seek him, we receive his Ruach that gives us the understanding we need to walk out our salvation with reverence and understanding. So, as I said, as you understand that you are a created being, then you got to come to understand you was created for what purpose? What are you supposed to be doing? Was your purpose to come into this world and just be your own God? Come in and experience good and evil and pleasure and all these things. And then once it's time to check out this broken vessel here, this earthly temple, then what then? You know what I'm saying? What did it accomplish? What did you learn by this experience? See, we spiritual beings having an earthly or human experience for the purpose of understanding. So guess what's not going to happen? As this process is complete, we will not squander the position and the things that we're given because we paid a price for this understanding by this experience. As I said, Adam and Chua squandered what they had because they never paid a price. They were given all this power and authority and everything, and they never knew what they had. This is why they thought they was lacking something. So they bought the lies of Hasatan and stepped outside the perfect will of the Most High power and brought us all into the realm of his permissive will. And this is the realm where the things that the Most High has to allow for the creation, for the completion of our creation, through the experience of good and evil, so that we can understand and be brought into the oneness of our creation. So we're being born of his spirit. So we become one mind with our Elohim. So guess what we can't do after we do? We can't disobey him. There's no way. Because now we understand versus just hearing something but not understanding. So anyway, this is why I say it's the importance that we must recognize that we are created beings with a purpose until the Ruach ultimately empowers us to do so. It empowers us to seek after our Creator. As I said, it's not that we first love him, but as he said that he first loved us. So the reason we love our Creator and we seek after him and all these things and we ultimately obey him is because he's put his spirit in us that gave us that love for him. So this is why we walk in obedience to him, and this is why we're his children. Okay, so like I said, family, it's time for us to stop living by what they taught us to be faith, and that's believing things you fully don't understand. It's time for us, in all praise to the Most High, through his Spirit, he's drawing us to understand the things we are and what we're dealing with, because that's the only way we're going to walk into our salvation and walk into the kingdom of the Most High. We got to understand things, family, and the Ruach HaKodesh makes that all possible. So why are we stuck on learning about this history, who this people is and who that people is, and all of this stuff that's been going on since the spirit of religion entered this world through this false prophet? Okay, and that was the priesthood of men. Okay, so the reality is, family, we need to understand what's pertinent right now in the season of the harvest, as the Most High is separating those that he's chosen and preparing us to be extracted out of this world. Okay, to be separated from this world, as he ultimately is going to bring an end to Hasatan's kingdom and rule in this world and bring forth the millennial reign of Yeshua. Okay, so the bottom line is, family, it's time to quit playing church. It's time to quit playing all these religious acts and deeds and stuff, because the Most High don't have nothing to do with that. These have been weapons by man's ignorance that the people in power had used to enslave us and to keep us subservient to worshiping man and not finding the Most High power, to find the will of our Creator, to understand his purpose and will for even creating us. And is ultimately to serve him as ourselves, but with the understanding of his mind. And it's for the purpose of enhancing creation around us. Okay? We can't make a difference in a positive way until we understand and get rid of the negativity of self and serving self that causes us to violate the laws of nature. Because ultimately, that's what evil is. It's the violation of the laws of nature that causes us to flow in oneness and harmony with one another. So, with that said, I'm just going to say this and then I'm going to be done. Because, if we don't have this understanding that we are the creatures and the Most High Power is the Creator, then we are enslaved to the power of Hasatan. As I said, Hasatan's purpose was to deceive man into disobeying and getting outside the perfect will of the Creator. That was his purpose, and he's done an excellent job at doing so. But the bottom line is, the child of Elohim, we realize that, we understand that now. We're turning to the Father and seeking his will to help us to understand ourselves so we can overcome this flesh, so that we can become servants to the Most High Power, okay? As his children of the kingdom, that manifest the oneness of his love. So therefore, we can't do things that violate the laws of nature, okay? Like taking the lives of other living creatures. You know what I'm saying? Is that whether it's our own kind or it's our fellow creatures and all of these things in this world, okay, and violate the earth herself. Rape the earth of its natural resources for financial gain and control over the people. That's sins against the laws of nature. All of that's sins. Those are the foundation. As I said, the foundational law of the kingdom is love and oneness and harmony. That's what it is. And if we don't have no regards for that, family, we ain't none of his. So this is why all we doing is playing games, trying to do something that we never have a chance to do. Because if we ain't born in the spirit, you can't keep the laws of the flesh. You can't. Because you don't have no understanding of why. So, I encourage people, as I always do. Like I said, if I ain't trying to teach you, tell you what to do, none of that. I'm just making a suggestion that, hey, consider what you've been taught and told by man. And seek answers from your Creator, from within. That he's put a piece of himself all inside of all of us, and he's been there the whole time. But the bottom line is, until you get that hunger and thirst for his righteousness, and when I say his righteousness, to come in agreement with his will in season. Okay? So until you desire to truly understand yourself and your purpose through the eyes of your Creator, destined for destruction. That's it. So then you reject this revelation and these teachings that you are a created being that's created to serve the Most High Power. So if you reject that, then you your own Elohim headed for destruction. Because in the end, he wins. And there ain't no changing that or stopping that. So anyway, family, I just pray that I said something that just give you something to consider. Like I said, we all are players in this creation process. And we need to know our place within this creation process. And that's the ultimate concern for the true child of the Most High Power. Because we want to live and please our Creator. We have to. It becomes our nature, and nothing else trumps that. And ultimately, that's what needs to be changed, is our nature. And that can only happen through the understanding of the Most High Power through His Spirit. to become everything that Yeshua is, where we're not imitating him or trying to be like him, but we're being ourselves, but according to the understanding of our Creator. Because we not Yeshua. You know what I'm saying? We not him. He's our big brother because he's the firstborn of many brethren. So he opened the door for us all to be redeemed and come into the same relationship that he has with the Father. So where's the necessity of some man ruling over you between the Most High? Nope, it ain't so. So anyway, family, with that said, I hope I said something to provoke you to thought and consider, and for you to take to the Most High and seek it out for yourself, because you do need to know yourself in him, because otherwise you really don't exist. And anything that was used during this process to process the Most High's people in his creation is going to be done away with. That's why things said like, depart from me, I never knew you. That's what it's talking about. He's saying he never knew you. That means you never existed to him, because you was your father, the Hasatan, his adversary. So, with that said, family, I'm just going to say one love, and may the Most High keep you and watch out over you as you continue to seek him out for yourself. With that said, I say one love and shalom.